Hi, I am Rachel from the 7 and All family, and today we're going to talk about our favorite and least favorite books we read in the past homeschool year. Books are one of my favorite things and favorite topics to talk about, so I'm excited to be filming this video today. This video is a collab with my good friend Katie from the channel Life in the Mundane. She has an awesome channel with a lot of really helpful videos. She really likes to talk about useful homeschool resources. She's kind of the homeschool resource queen. So definitely make sure you head over to her channel and check out the playlist, because there's going to be a bunch of us moms talking about the big hits and the big misses in our kind of read aloud calendar for the past school year. Now, I will give a little bit of a explanation. My video might be a little bit different from some of theirs because our family isn't really in the traditional homeschool read aloud phase of life. We've got a wide range of ages that we're dealing with. We have a high schooler who's going into 11th grade. We have a 5th grader going into 6th grade. And then I have my two sons, those are my sisters. I have my two sons who are now 4 years old and 2 years old. So we don't really have the right ages for that, everyone sit around and cuddle together and read a read aloud chapter book. Now, I do a whole lot of reading aloud every single day to my boys, but we're still reading picture books, and we are very much enjoying the picture book stage of life. My older siblings, my younger siblings who are older, much older than my kids, mainly read to themselves, especially the high schooler, although the 5th grader does have some books still read aloud to her. So now that I've explained that, the way I'm going to organize this video is I'm going to share some top favorites and least favorites for each level of reader that we have in our family. I've done other videos like that in the past where I shared book recommendations for each level. This is kind of going to be a retrospective on the whole year. So we'll start with the oldest. We'll start with the teenager, 15 years old. In this past school year, she said the book she picked as her top favorite read was Christy. And I don't have some of these physical books here with me right now. They are at their house, so I'll put up the picture. Christy is a really fun read. It's one that I read back when I was in school. This is part of the Sunlight 100 level core. It's taking place with a kind of city girl going into the backwoods community to be a school teacher, and basically her adventures that she runs into. It's a bit of a romance story, although not like truly all focused on the romance. It's a historical fiction novel. It's one of those kind of books that when you read it, you're like, wait, this is schoolwork and I'm getting to read this, but I'm doing my schoolwork, but I'm just really reading this fun book. So I can definitely see why it would be a favorite for her. The 15-year-old's least favorite book of the school year was Into the Unknown, which is part of the Good and the Beautiful's Language Arts 1 for high school course. And I did talk about this a little bit in my review of that language arts course, which I can link here in the cards if you are interested in seeing that. Her main comment on it, well, she just thought it was really boring. And her main comment was, maybe I don't really get into books that are just, the entire book is about being in a really, really cold frozen place where there's not much. You're just basically in a frozen wasteland exploring the whole book. But I really want her to give books about explorers in frozen places a second chance. So I told her that I think she should read Endurance. I've never read Into the Unknown, but I have read Endurance about Shackleton's story, and I think that's an incredible, that one had me on the edge of my seat. So I think she should give the books about frozen explorers a second chance, but that one was definitely not a hit for her. Next, I will talk about the 11-year-old's favorite books and least favorite books from the past school year, and I will link to these books down below and list their titles so that you can see them and remember them more easily. The first top favorite, we would say big hit from this past year, was the I Survived series. My parents got her a big set of the series for Christmas, for a big Christmas present. A great time to build up your homeschool library, and your home library is Christmas and birthdays. So she got a set of the I Survived books for Christmas, and she devoured them. I think she's read them all multiple times at this point, just a few months out of Christmas. Those have really sparked an interest in history for her, and that they were at a good level for what she can read right now and really enjoy. So those were a big hit for her. Now, when I asked her what her least favorite book of the school year was, it was called At the World's Rim. And I'll try to put a picture on the screen because I don't have it. But At the World's Rim is a Sunlight book. In the Sunlight that we were attempting to do with her before, we just decided Sunlight is just too much because she is struggling with reading comprehension. And At the World's Rim was an especially difficult struggle. The way that characters talk with it, the book is about a Spanish exploration expedition going into kind of what is now Florida today, and exploring in the New World. That's the general concept of the book. And my mom says the way that characters talk in the book, it is kind of hard to understand for a child who's not used to it, who doesn't have a lot of experience with these books with more archaic language and characters speaking in old-fashioned ways. So it just was too challenging. It was too much of a gap between what she knows and what she can learn from reading in a book. The gap was too big. And that was a read aloud that we tried with her that just really was no fun. Not great for her. Now I'll move on to my little kids, and here I actually have the physical books to show you. And this is going to be kind of a blend of their favorites and my least favorites, like kind of a mix, because at this point they're very, very little. And I have opinions and they have opinions, so you'll see as we go through. I'll talk about some of my newly 4-year-olds favorite books from this past year. This is one I added to our library in this past year. This will be familiar to all of you guys as the Frog and Toad. This is a treasury. So all the Frog and Toad books, I got them all in Spanish because we are a bilingual homeschooling family. And these were a huge hit. We have read all of these stories multiple times. I think that these stories, these are a classic for a reason. They are great for when you're building that attention span and he's now at a place where he can listen to and understand a story that's a little bit heavier on the words and lighter on the pictures. There are still quite a few pictures, but you can tell there are more words on the page than in those first storybooks that you're reading that are very light on words. So, the Frog, everyone knows the Frog and Toad stories. They're great. They're a great friendship story. They've got just funny, simple little plots that they can relate to and understand. So those were a huge hit. Another classic that is kind of really along the same level is the Little Bear books. I have the original Little Bear, and then I got this one, Papa Bear Comes Back. Don't exactly know what the English title is, but it's something like Papa Bear Comes Back Home. I got this one in Spanish, and so we have 2 books in the series. There are more, I believe. I'd like to get them someday, the other ones, but these are just, of course, the best hit. They've got, not a ton of words on the page. These are kind of designed that they can be early readers, and we probably will use them as that when we get to that point. But for us right now, they are just read alouds, and they are so sweet, enjoyable, really capture a lot of attention. My son loves looking closely at the illustrations, being able to tell what's going on, combining what he hears with what he sees. So these have been great for him. Now I'll tell you my least favorite book was actually one that I bought to use with our gentle and classical nature curriculum, which is their just gentle life science kind of nature studies that I've started incorporating with my sons. We are overall loving the curriculum and enjoying what we're learning about. My son does very well with the memory statement cards. Those click for him super well. He loves the topics. He's remembering a lot about everything we're learning. The book that I just really do not like teaching from and reading from is the nature notebook, the Rothman nature notebook, whatever this is called in English with the exact title. I bought the Spanish version because I wanted a chance to learn. This is a lot of new vocabulary for me in Spanish. I have learned that this is just not really my ideal read aloud or teaching style. I know a lot of people love this book, but for me, it just wasn't a win as far as a book to really read aloud from and teach from. To me, it feels like, okay, I'm supposed to read this page or whatever, and so I'm just reading the names of trees and some little small fact about a tree, and hey, let's look at the pictures of trees. I can see this being more something that would be good for an older kid who can read, and a kid who can read well enough to read cursive, because there's quite a bit of writing that is actually in cursive. So that means a fairly pretty older kid to be able to read and just like go through and look at the pictures, or a younger kid, I guess, could just go through and look at the pictures because they're pretty pictures. But this was just not a hit for me to actually teach read aloud. I didn't know what to expect when I bought it. But we're always learning. We're always learning about ourselves and what we like. And now I know this is just not, it's just not my style. It's gonna fit other people's styles to teach from. It just doesn't fit me. The book that I actually have really enjoyed, I don't have to show you, I'll try to put a picture in. It's called something like 50 Slow Moments, or Slow Down 50 Quiet Moments from Nature. That I really enjoyed, and it covers basically a lot of the same info we're supposed to cover in Gentle and Classical Nature. It has like it just has 2-page spreads with, it'll be something about a snake, like a snake sheds its skin, and then we talk through this whole process of a snake shedding its skin. Or it'll be a mother and father bird feed their babies, and we get to go through kind of all these scenes, and these baby birds need food, and what are the parents going to do? And they feed them. So it's just kind of like micro stories within nature that go over different kinds of animals and animal facts within those stories. That just, it fits with my teaching style, it fits with my brain a whole lot better than this one, and I've enjoyed it more. So I still like open it and look at the pages with my boys for what we're supposed to be learning about, but I know that I really like that other book quite a bit more. Now, so I'll go to my 2-year-old, favorites for my 2-year-old. And I've talked about this in other videos. My 4-year-old loved books from the time he was born, and would sit on he's always just loved books and will sit and listen to them endlessly. My 2-year-old did not love books at all for the first probably almost 2 years of his life. He's now almost 2.5, and he has started to really enjoy books and actually ask me to read him stories, which I was kind of wondering if that was ever going to happen, because when he was a baby, you'd try to sit him on your lap and try to read him a story, and he would kick and scream to get away. So it's like, okay, fine. He had an unusual hatred of books as an infant. So I'm not necessarily reading him the same, maybe longer stories I was reading his brother when he was 2, but I'm pulling out the board books now that I didn't get to read him so much when he was a baby because he hated them. So we've actually been reading through, 5 or 10 board books in a day, every day recently, and he's really enjoying them. One series I really love with him are the Baby Believer series from Catechesis Books. I have the First Bible Basics, and I have Songs of Praise from that series. If I had a chance, I probably would have bought all of these books. They're available in the US, and I'm not in the US, so I can't always get what you want. But I love these books, and he actually really loves them and really connects with them too. This is one of the movement primer themed books, so it has different actions. He is in a phase right now where he loves to do the action while we read the Bible verse, mimic the child on the page. And this is a counting book with little theological parts. He loves it. It does have pictures of Jesus in it. He loves it. We count the things on the page. He enjoys these. He's asked for him. He calls this one the God book, and he says God very seriously. So he's learning to take faith seriously at a young age, through these small speaking truth to him through these little books. But we enjoy quite a few, whatever I have in my collection, I'm reading to him nowadays. And he is enjoying books more and more, which I appreciate. He also really, really likes interactive books. This is where we're going to have to agree to disagree with each other on books, because I do not like interactive books, like these kinds where you have moving pieces. This is one from what's it called, fairy tale kind of series, like classic tales series. So this is Aladdin, and there's a lot of pieces to move. I've never liked those kind of books. I think they always tend to get ruined in small people's hands, and I don't know, they're kind of gimmicky to me, but he loves them. So sometimes we need, especially with kids who are more reluctant to enjoy books, sometimes we need to keep an eye out for those little things that really spark their interest, and he loves interactive books. Some other books that we have that he loves are these I Can Fix It. This is I Can Fix It, and I Can Go Shopping. This is a little series. They've got a bunch of pieces in the front of the book, and then when you open the pages, there's spots where the pieces need to go. This is also falls under the definition of books that are not at all my favorite, because it's like every time we get out this book, I have to make sure that all the pieces go right back where they are. I'm one of those kind of very conscientious people. We don't lose the pieces, but I also hate things with pieces because then I have to do that. But they are big hits. So this is kind of, it's a least favorite for me is the books with the small pieces. It's a most favorite for him. So those are some of our best favorite and least favorite books of the year. I'm excited to see my friends' videos in this collaboration. So I will be checking out the whole playlist, and I hope you guys do too. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Thanks for being here. I hope you do subscribe and stick around to see more from our adventurous homeschooling family. We are homeschooling in Southeast Asia and raising our kids to be bilingual in Spanish and English. I love making nerdy homeschool videos here on YouTube, and I hope that you enjoy watching them. Bye!